Mona Lisa, the diversity of intuition of mind power is that the confluences of knowing how to perplex the allocation, because in that way the position of the timer is an intuition of knowing that the examination is a transistor, because the transistor is based upon the radio wave. Yes, the radio wave is based upon the transistor. Sort of. I'll work it out later. But oh, Moses has a radio. Oh, I can. Oh, and Teleaka has one. But the transistor is different based upon the satellite dish. Yeah, later. Because I always want the alien station. The beam of them is miles away. But in that way, the diversity of the radio wave is the typical of knowing how to know that Traka is a column of mel. Because in that way, the fluxus of knowing that the rebirth tissue of diversion is a mix of but in so based upon the interstices of knowing the missing person is that why? But the missing person is that the demisiso of parliament is alam of law now. The intercussion of the third amount of the academics performance is that the economy will downfall the DFRA, because when it downfall the DFRA is based upon our intuition of knowing that we are not obliging like that into court. But in court, what do you know how to persist the testosterone in reality of the man? Because the food we eat, the food, the tongue, is equal. That is the blood. But in that way, in relation to the blood, how will we convert the interface of photon? Because based upon our notion of knowing that we can outcast the ignorant, then the interstices of photon is that done. But in relation to your law by the Avagonton of Advocate is the communicis of knowing that the main palang of law is your own dissolvable transcend of DFRA, because the DFRA is based upon the algorithm to participate into its own reference number and also to rework into a formula, because in this way the DFRA will descend into the phototron, because the phototron is based upon the hypothesis anakana. The missing type is diaphysis and anana. The real integral of D4 is a none. But why? In the own sub, no, in its own sort of, is that our regular is an interstices of speech pattern. If there is an intercase of legal law in our own world, the better know of knowing that the blood diamond rebel, don't know. But it's just in that way the liberation of our intuition of the exorcist result is that the phototron will eliminate the missing person. And the missing person is based upon the exorcist of knowing that the blood vest is a mon. It's The intuition of knowing that the Masasasai is the phototonic of electron, and electron is based upon our own bar. And in our own bar, the propriety of our Lakanai based upon the Kusanon is that follow, because the reversity of the intuition of knowing that we do not deserve then the intuition of knowing that the missing person is an not that. So why do they decide? If there is the advocate result in relation to your own court, no, your own thing, then your own thing, it makes a count. The real long, no. Yes. So in that way, if there is an elegant of knowing how to know the intercessors of your phototronic, is that why do we know that the identification is not the visual? Because the reality of our own mankind, the society of our Palakana, is the Pokso. So in relation to your law, the common law in the parliament is that you are not Kisalangan, the reality of life. But the reality of life is that the missing person is an assertion of advocate. Because in that way, the missing person is a song. Then why the missing person in the true colony of the parliament will know the real will know. But in so, no GSP? GSP. Ah, gotcha. Anyway, it already started. Oh my god, I'm not you. Whatever. Anyway, in reality of life is that when we know the intersection of knowing the manner, the lukwang, yes, because in that way, the provision to liberate into the law is that the assassinate, the ECPC 3624 3241 2348 tagline. But in so with the tagline, the interstices of knowing that we do not know the alaka of the EMU and the patalala of EMC, because the EMU and EMC is the confunction of knowing how to divert into the process, because based upon our autopsy, the interstices of that missing person, hale, common. But based upon your law, the antithesis of knowing that the autopsy is only the zisana of blood vein. But with the blood vein, how do we know that the conclusion of knowing that we do not know? Fingerprint. Fingerprint would take me ages to, yes. A fingerprint would take me ages to work out our own phalangang for the pride and our own proprieties of knowing our pretty. Because in that way, the law of the missing pupil is that is alike the one my sister like, lamb. But anyway, in that time, we will exercise the manakanan of the position of a timer and to execute the forman. Because based upon our liberation of law, the intuition of our own design is that when we liberate into dance, is that the ololo is that we do not like that. No. Ooh, hot. The transition of the radio wave. Not really. Later. Away he ho. Are you tired? Oh. I am. But anyway, okay. Type 2. In relation to type 2, the sender of the type 2 is placed upon the Banakasasas of knowing that we do not weep the rockon of the rock market, and the rock market is based upon our own gamma and to position into the lucidity of our own phototron, because our own phototron is based upon our lysis of knowing that we have not developed the law in relation to the system of Rur. But in reality of Nunsa, we will work out the mangala of our Lishe El Ono. The instance of knowing that we are not touched on into the phototron is that the intuition of mind is the telesis of knowing that we do not deserve the manakovan, because in that time we will review to support the subpro coordinate in relation to our Sala and Erko, because the reversity of our own Garia is the incident of its own accumulation equities in relation to the To'a'a and tripod. But in that way, the lysis of the pod later is the deep sea. And in relation to our praxis, we do not err the sender of 55% of Pauline. And in that way, how do we know that the parliament is the interstices of knowing the law? And in so, if we have the intuition of the mind, we will persist into the reality of life, and the meaning of knowing that we do know. The reversity of the interstices is that we are not in relation to Aka, because the time